Hey there, everybody. Don't mind the different setup. As I'm sure many of you know, I have more than one YouTube channel, the other one being Council of Geeks, and I am on a tight schedule to get this video shot and have it out while part of what I'm talking about is still timely, so I didn't want to change the setup. So this is going to be it for today. So I'm going to talk about perception, what you believe, how you see the world. Because perception shapes our interactions with people much more than reality does. I mean, you can go on and on about how objective reality is, but no matter what the truth may be, we're all perceiving it through the subjective nature of our own perceptions. Two people can look at the same thing and have a deeply different experience from having done that. Not because they saw something different, but because they perceive the same thing in different ways. Nobody sees the world the way that you do. And there's only so much that you can do to try and put yourself in other people's shoes to see their perceptions and conceive of the world as they do. And even trying to do what little you can is a heck of a lot of work, so we make a lot of assumptions because it's easier. At the end of the day, humans are nothing if not inclined to put in the least effort to get what we tend to think of as an acceptable result. So, two different people can say, listen to a song and perceive it very differently. Let's pick an example of that, like totally at random. How about Baby It's Cold Outside? Triggered! Except I'm not really, and given that I'm clearly an SJW libtard snowflake gender special cuck, there are plenty of people who assume I would be triggered by that song, and that anybody who they perceive in a similar vein to someone like me would also be triggered. Except we're really not. Not the vast majority of us, at any rate. Look, it shouldn't come as any surprise that I'm a liberal-leaning person. I mean, if only for reasons of self-preservation. You don't exactly get the red carpet rolled out for you from conservatives looking like how I look. But just to put it on record, I don't really think much about the song Baby It's Cold Outside one way or the other. I mean, it's a cute duet. It's a pleasant tune. And exactly how rapey it comes across is going to have way more to do with the tone and vibe of the artists singing it in any particular rendition than the lyrics in and of themselves. So, I mean, to take the particularly infamous line of, hey, what's in this drink? Now, that could be played as a genuine question, which can have some nasty implications. Or it can be played in a very playful bit of nudging, basically saying, hey, what are you up to, naughty man? Whatever it is. I dig it. Again, speaking personally, about the harshest thing I'd say about the song is that it just wouldn't be made today. But saying that isn't a condemnation of the song, it's a statement of fact. If we're being honest, I mean, it's one of those songs that gets radio play still because it's seasonal and it's grandfathered in. If it came out for the first time ever this year and was recorded by, I don't know, Michael Bublé and Lady Gaga, I think most radio stations would at the very least require a radio edit, if not just pass on the whole thing. But honestly, I'm not really here to talk about the song itself. Rather, the perception of the controversy that sprang up around it and really seemed to gain a lot of heat this year. Now, I mean, the observation that the song can have some bad implications isn't even new. I've been hearing that for years already. And I did put controversy in quotes because as far as I can find, there have only been a handful of instances where radio stations actually pulled the song from their holiday rotation. Now, those instances have been overreported and hot-taked to death, so the perception is probably that this sort of thing is running rampant. The SJWs out to tell us all that we're horrible rapists because we like a song. I'd bet money that most of the radios that actually pulled it at any point got 1, maybe 2 calls or emails about it, and pulled it because, well, they didn't think it would be a big deal. A few stations that I could find that were on the fence about what to do actually ran polls asking listeners to weigh in, and the ones that I could find the results on overwhelmingly indicated people didn't want the song pulled. And I kind of feel like that backs up my instincts about the whole situation, which is that it was an over-reported overreaction to complaints made by maybe a couple dozen people on a national level, whose exact complaints and concerns we're not actually even privy to in the first place. Now that's the reality. But the reality doesn't matter. The perception is the oversensitive war on Christmas crowd is at it again. And people are taking stances based on not the reality, but that perception. I was in my office break room earlier this week. It's why I'm actually talking about this. Somebody started playing the song on their phone, which honestly was really weird. We don't pipe music into the break room, and while it's not a company rule or anything, it's been considered common courtesy to use headphones if you wanted to watch or listen to something while you're in there, because it's a communal space. This person hadn't been playing music prior to this song, so it wasn't like it just came up in a shuffle. It was dead quiet in the break room, and then suddenly, "Baby, it's cold outside." So it was either to make a point or, just spark a conversation, which it did. A very one-sided conversation as my coworkers began their exasperated eye-rolling about sensitive people are so stupid, having a bit of back and forth on that. It actually started somebody saying very jokingly, "Oh, careful, you'll get in trouble." And I wanted in that moment to say, no, they won't, because virtually nobody actually cares about this song. At most, it gets illustrated to show the shifting standards of acceptable behavior between men and women. No one is about to faint from being rape culture triggered. Of course, I didn't say that, which was probably the smart thing to do, but that meant that the conversation built quickly with emphatically annoyed it's just sprouting up around the room, and people clearly gearing up to give little rambles about oversensitive whiners. So I picked up what I'd been reading and quietly left. I couldn't have the conversation I would have liked to have had. I couldn't tell them that the people they're complaining about by and large don't exist. Certainly not in the numbers that they believe. Recognizing that a song like "Baby It's Cold Outside" is reflective of outdated gender dynamics is not synonymous with left-wing hardliners screaming, "Rape culture! Ostracize all who like it!" At least not any more than saying "Merry Christmas" instead of "Happy Holidays" is synonymous with jingoistic fundamentalist-fueled bigotry. See, that's the thing. On my other channel, Council of Geeks, I did a review of the new She-Ra series, not being aware that there'd been a kind of fan war going on ever since the thing first got announced and the first bits of artwork showed up. So as a result of that video, I'd see comments like, "I don't like the new She-Ra, and whenever I say that, I get called a sexist." But then I scroll through a few more comments made by that same person and find more often than not that that exact same commenter will assert that anyone who likes that the new star of Doctor Who is a woman is an SJW agenda-pushing control freak. So, but that's their perception. We get annoyed at people for their perceptions of us while failing to take stock in the perceptions we have of them. So, speaking on behalf of the libtard cucks of the world, all the betas and the NPCs, the problem isn't what we are. The problem is what you think we are. And yes, I'm sure you can find a few isolated examples of someone on the liberal side of the aisle who did in fact get over the top and destructive with their point of view. Just like I can find examples of literal Nazi marches in this country. But if you're a conservative, you wouldn't want me to associate you with Nazis just because you lean to the right. At least I hope you wouldn't. And I wouldn't want you to associate me with the most extreme end of the left just because I lean that way. Respect requested must also be given in return. For crying out loud, it's just a song. At this point, way more people are losing their mind defending it than there were ever people attacking it. Just listen to it. Don't listen to it. Who freaking cares? In the end, what matters is how we interact. And we're interacting based off our perceptions. So, pause. Think about the assumptions you're making. Think about the perception you're coming with. Maybe adjust. Or don't. I mean, this is me howling into the void, I'm sure. But I feel better having said it. Maybe you feel better for having listened to it. Or maybe you want to write a nice little screed telling me how absolutely wrong I am. Or why you people are the problem. Boy, that's a phrase that gets me to disregard anything you say following those words. But in any case, that'll wrap it up for this one, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a Happy New Year. If you celebrate anything else, I hope you go with that. I hope you have a joyous solstice. Whatever you're feeling. Have a good time. Be nice, if you can.